And it's a good morning to the Sports Fan Radio viewers and listeners and the Gelding. That's racing, and we've just got Flemington in our filter. It was outside our filter last night with a heavy 8, but the track's been reassessed this morning and it's back to a soft 7, so we can validly look at that today given our filters, Gelding.
Good morning, Professor. Good morning, listeners. Yes, we're tossing up Melbourne or Sydney, Professor. Geez, a bit of weight on my shoulders this week, Professor, by choosing Flemington over Sydney. So, look, if any track can handle wet conditions, it's Flemington, and a soft 7 at Flemington. You know, that might improve a little bit with a little less rain, but today, but we'll just see how it goes. So, it's not going to get any worse, Professor, unless it rains this afternoon during the races.
Well, the forecast is for clearing weather, Gelding. So if we get a bit of wind on it, might go back to a soft 6, but I'm happy with a soft 7. Not happy with a heavy 8, but soft 7's okay. The rail is out 12 metres, Gelding. There are 9 races for decision today. The first at 11:50 a.m. And you've got to look hard for the feature race, Gelding. The feature race is actually race 5. The Creswick
listed
Stakes.
Race, Professor.
Yeah, the Creswick Stakes, the listed race, the best race on the program over 1,200 metres. I had to look long and hard to work out which race was the feature race, Gelding. Why is the feature race race 5?
Professor, you keep asking me sensible questions and you expect me to answer for racing committees. Now, my view of racing committees probably is not favourable, Professor, but I used to, in a 9-race program, the daily double used to be races 6 and 8, didn't it?
Yes, Gelding.
So I've got no idea why they've put the best race outside of the quadrella, Professor.
Oh, only racing committees, Gelding. We could talk about that forever, but how about we don't? Now, just before we get on to the tips, a huge result for one of Sports Fan Radio's favourite horses during the week at Ascot, Nature Strip. Took all before it. A great ride by McDonald. How did you see that race?
I've been quite interested in Royal Ascot this week, Professor. The first night, of course, Nature Strip was running. McDonald aboard the Chris Waller train. Won easily, Professor. Won by about 4 lengths. An American horse was the favourite for the race, but just continued to show Australians' dominance with our sprinters. And as we said, Nature Strip's been a horse we've been on many times, Professor. So, yeah, should be very good to listen to. Have I got you, Professor? Hello, Professor. Hello. Hello, Professor.
How about we start again? I don't know what happened there.
Just wet. You just froze on me.
Yes, you did the same.
Yeah.
So let's start again. I'll put us back to air. Oh, we're actually live streaming at the moment, Gelding. So
okay.
How about we just keep going? What are your 4 best bets for today?
Best bets for today, Professor, at Flemington. Like race 4, number 2, Quintello, David Ma Eustace horse ridden by Cartwright, claiming 1.5. A horse that's been freshened up, 9 starts for 4 wins, Professor, in pretty good form. Oh, excuse my voice, Professor. Yeah, I just think a horse that's won four wins out of 9 starts, Professor, round about the $3.30, may kick us away with a good start today. We then go to the main race, Professor, which is race 5, the Cruikshank Stakes. Not sure why this race isn't one of the legs of the quadrilla, Professor, but so be it. We'll go for a horse that we've backed before, Professor. Race 5, number 8, Passive Aggressive. This colt trained by Graham Begg, ridden by Geordie Charles. 3 starts for 3 wins, Professor. And I think this horse may be a bit better than listed company. A couple of big dangers in this race, though, Professor, being the Clinton McDonald trained Star Patrol up the top, and also the Ma Eustace trained IME and a horse called Pissarro. But Passive Aggressive, round about the 275, Professor, 280, horse that's undefeated, that'll do me. So my 2 tips, Professor: mid-meeting at Flemington, race 4, number 2, Quintello, into race 5, number 8, Passive Aggressive. And what do you like, Professor?
Yeah, I'm going for the end of the meeting, Gelding. Race 8, the David Burke. I wonder if it's named after a former Richmond player.
Sir Francis's son.
Yes, it wasn't quite as good.
No, I think it's no, not quite as good, but I think it's named after the Burkes out in Pakenham, Professor.
Oh, okay.
David Burke was a committee man on the VRC, but had vast property out around the Pakenham area.
Oh, well, he would have sold it all by now, Gelding. It's all housing developments now around Pakenham, no farmland.
Would have sold it all there, but was a big player in the original Pakenham races, Professor, when they were in Pakenham.
When the racecourse was in Racecourse Road.
Yes, it was the Pakenham racecourse was in Racecourse Road, Pakenham, and had a train that goes up straight to it, Professor.
Yeah, well, don't start me on it, Gelding, because you can now drive down Racecourse Road, and guess what? There is no sign that there was ever a racecourse there.
Unbelievable, Professor. But
all right,
before you get on with your tips, though, what about the new racecourse out of Pakenham? I believe there's Gelding? A lot of money out there, is there, Professor?
Oh, a lot of money, Gelding. A lot of money, a lot of land.
A lot of land? Yeah. What about the little blokes on board?
Oh, yes. I did see some of them leaving the racecourse the other day when I was travelling down what's not called Racecourse Road.
And what, they're in their Holdens, their Toyotas? Or...
Oh, yeah, Holdens, Toyotas, Datsun 180B.
All right, yeah, okay.
More like BMWs and Mercedes, Gelding.
All
right, the David Burke's a benchmark 90, Gelding, over 1,630 metres, and I like in that race, Gelding, horse 5, Sir Davy. Had 12 starts for 6 wins and 4 placings, so any horse with a 50% place rate over 12 is good enough for me. An 83% place rate. It's won over the distance, Gelding. It won its last start at Caulfield when it beat Visionary, which is the favourite in this race. Beat it by 0.8 of a length. So I'll take that form into this race. Currently showing $4.40 on the tape, Gelding. I got $5.30 last night.
Wow. Any horse that's won its last 4, Professor, you got to say he's in good form, and being trained by Ma Eustace and ridden by Ethan Brown. You're going well there. I do like a couple of others in this, Professor. Though you've got a couple of dangers, I think, in number 7, Visionary, but of course Sir Davy beat it last start, and one down there, number 9, Paddy Payne, the Aguilar. So
I'll look at both of those, Gelding.
Sir Davy.
Yeah,
You
I
can't
looked at
tip them
both of
all,
those.
Professor.
Sorry?
You can't tip them all.
No, you can't tip them all. And anyway, I think that gives good value for each way bettors, Gelding.
Oh,
The second
a horse has
selection.
won 4 races in a row, Professor, and
Yeah.
you're getting each way odds.
Exactly.
You know, you can't go wrong there.
My second selection, Gelding, race 9 in the Gwenda Johnson Open 1100 metre race down the straight 6. Horse 11, Zach the Boss. We've been on that one before, Gelding, at a barrier 11.
Yes.
12 starts for 4 wins and 3 placings. So a 33% win rate, a 58% place rate. It's won over the distance. It won at the track. It won its last start at Flemington when it carried 59.5, Gelding, only carrying 54 today.
Oh, beautiful.
So even though it's gone up in class, it's carrying 5.5 kilos less. So I know my grandmother used to look at little things like that always seemed to interest her when a horse was carrying much less weight.
Yep. Well, that's on, and especially a day where it's, soft track. That can be a big bearing in these things. So, and it's a big horse, Zach the Boss. So won't know it's carrying anything, Professor.
Yeah, ridden by Matthew Cartwright and trained by Simon Zara from Flemington.
Yep. A very good trainer, split up with Matthew Ellerton and starting to forge their own way separately.
So my 2 selections for today, Gelding, race 8, horse 5, Sir Davy, race 9, horse 11, Zach the Boss. Now, the Professor's Parlay, we got 2 legs up last week, but...
Rub it in, Professor.
Oh, no. The Gelding, there's no rubbing it in because the horse leg is the agreed bet between you and I, so it rests on both our shoulders because I have to agree to put that leg into the parlay. So no, it's both of us.
Anton did let us down a little bit last week.
Isn't it amazing when we don't get the horse leg up, the other 2 legs come in?
Oh, definitely. And when we get the horse up,
something goes wrong somewhere else, Gelding. last leg syndrome, as Deligan would say.
Yeah, ever since he said that, it's come into effect.
Well, let's see if we can attack today, Gelding. Race 5, horse 8, passive aggressive. That's the agreed bet of the day with you and I.
Yeah.
Into Penrith Panthers, haven't put a foot wrong this season. They had 6 players out for Origin, still won easily to beat the very disappointing New Zealand Warriors who sacked their coach. Strangely, Gelding, the coach was sacked because he couldn't give a guarantee that he'd turn up in New Zealand to coach the team. Now, I would have thought that if you coach the New Zealand Warriors, part of the role would be that you're actually in New Zealand coaching the team.
It makes it a bit hard to coach them from Australia, doesn't it?
Oh, look, only in rugby league. I'm going to talk about that to the Giraffe tomorrow on Sports Fan Radio, but that's an amazing thing. And let's parlay that into Geelong to beat West Coast. Geelong have won 8 from 12. The West Coast are very disappointing, 1 from 11. I can't see them winning this one. They've got the worst offense in the league. They've got the second worst defense in the league. They're losing margin, average losing margin, Gelding 56 points.
Yeah.
So there's not much to say. And Geelong with a win can take 4th spot from Carlton. So I'm tipping Geelong. The parlay showing reasonable odds of 5-2, Gelding.
Oh, that's quite nice, Professor. I'd be happy. I'll take that.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with that, Gelding.
Yeah.
Sports Fan Radio tomorrow, Gelding. It's a smaller panel. You've got family commitments that you won't be available, and Sarah's playing football, so it'll just be and Cooter's got junior football commitments, so it'll just be Deligan, the judge, and I. And we've got a special guest tomorrow, Dr. Eric Windholtz, a senior lecturer at Monash, and he's going to talk about the transgender problems in
swimming and football.
Which is
very interesting, Professor.
Yeah, very interesting, and plenty of issues being raised all over the world, trying to include, but then deciding how to include.
Do we need a third category, Professor?
Well, that may be a question that the judge asks Dr. Windholtz tomorrow. All right, Gelding. Well, you rest up and make sure you're over that dreaded lurgy by next
Yes,
weekend.
still lingering, Professor.
Yeah, still lingering, but look, you've got another week to get over it. So until next Saturday, and that's Racing Gelding, it's good luck.
And